Hey, welcome to my kitchen. I'm Adriana Southworth and I love to bake. Today we are going to dive right in because we're packing a lot in. This is the recipe that I make almost every single day. This is the bread we cannot live without. I worked so hard on this recipe to make it perfect and I really have nailed it. Even my husband loves this bread and he is so picky. So everybody will love this bread. Now, I specifically did this one to work with 100% fresh milled flour and instant yeast. I wanted this to be the absolute most convenient recipe because we need it every single day, and sometimes you just need a really convenient recipe that never lets you down. So I am just milling 740 grams of flour. Right now, I'm kind of on a kick of using a combination of hard red and khorasan, which is the generic version of kamut. And I just used about 550 grams of hard red, and then all the rest was kamut. I change this up though frequently, so sometimes I'm just using hard red, sometimes I use hard white. Whatever you have, for the most part, as long as it has enough protein, it should be great. So then I do 475 grams of room temperature filtered water and 60 grams of honey, and then the next thing I'll do is 60 grams of applesauce. You can sub 1 egg in for this. I just can't eat eggs, so applesauce it is. Although I really do feel like the applesauce makes it softer and more delicious than an egg. So then I put in most of my flour, but I do hold back, I eyeball it, probably about half a cup. And I just hold it back for later, and then I just mix all of this up. I want the flour to absorb all of the water and honey and applesauce. So I just get it to it until it is completely combined. I love this mixer. It is so convenient. Oh, now I'm testing out a brand new baby carrier. I did like it, so I took the tax off. I put in a tiny bit more flour because it was too loose. So now I'm just continuing to get it all mixed up. This is what it's looking like right now. And then I will cover it with plastic or a damp towel and let it rest for about 15 minutes. It will really absorb all of that moisture in that time and become a lot softer. And now I am adding 75 grams of coconut oil. You can use any fat that you want, but I do find that coconut oil is my favorite. I use 15 grams of fine sea salt. This is Redmond's. I love the way that this dissolves, but I often use Celtic sea salt too. And then I use 6 grams of instant yeast. This honestly has been a really big game changer for me. I used to get really stuck in my head about not using sourdough. But with the fresh milled flour, I don't find any issues with the digestibility, and this has made it really easy for me to make all of our bread products. So it's worth the trade-off in my opinion. If you don't want to use instant yeast, you can use 100 grams of active sourdough starter, and then you'll just lengthen all of your time frames. So I just knead this until the dough is almost at window pane. It's really hard to get window pane with fresh milled flour. It just takes a really long time. And sometimes I don't have that much time. So I get it to where it's really elastic and it's almost there. And then I will always put my hands in the dough and do some slap and folds or some kneading, just so you can really feel the dough and get a good handle on how the dough feels, so that you know how long it will take to rise. The more you touch your dough, the better you'll get at knowing what it's doing. So once I have it to the elasticity that I want it at, I will tuck it into a nice little ball, and I put it right into the bowl that I milled the flour into. And then I just cover it with either a damp towel, or in this case, I used a disposable shower cap. I reuse them over and over again, and they're so handy and nice, but I know a lot of people don't like to use plastic. So if you're not doing that, you want a damp towel. About an hour and a half later, and it is nice and doubled in size, so I just punch out all of the gases. I did let it rise a little too long, so it stuck to the bowl a little bit. Not a big deal. And then I just gently tuck it back all together into one nice little ball, and then I kind of reform it into a circle so that I can divide it up evenly. For this recipe, you can make it into 2 sandwich loaves, or you can do 1 sandwich loaf and buns. You can literally use this recipe for anything. It is so versatile. This particular day, I decided to do 8 buns or maybe I ended up with 9. I can't remember. I did some buns and then I did a sandwich loaf. So first I'm going to shape the rolls. And with the rolls, I love it because they all have their own individual crust, which means they stay softer and fresher longer. So if you're only making sandwich loaves, you'll notice by day 2 or 3 that they do tend to get crumbly. If you make rolls, they don't do this. And my kids don't mind having a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on a roll instead of bread. Or a sandwich loaf style slice of bread anyway. I just pinch all the sides in, and then I basically do like a mini bowl, and I just build nice tension so that it's a nice ball. And I did that over and over again until I had it's 8. There are 8 rolls there. And with instant yeast, your dough will rise while you are shaping your other bread because it works so quickly. So I always knock the gas back out again so that you don't get any huge bubbles. And I just pull in those corners and roll it really tightly. I did end up with a little bubble in the middle of this one. And sometimes when your dough sits out and kind of dries a little bit, this is a lot more common. So you'll see me rolling this a bunch to really squish out that pocket of air. I will always forget to prepare my pans, but you should do that. Oil it or put some parchment paper in, whatever you prefer. And then I just cover it and let it rise for about another hour. And then I will use what's called a poke test. So this is what I'm doing right here. You can see that one, the indent stays. This one, it springs back a little bit faster. It's because of when I shaped them, but they're ready. So I just cover them for a second to prepare the oven, and then I bake them at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. I always check the internal temperature. I want it to be about 195 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I rub them with butter and we enjoy them. We always knead them before I can eat them again. They are so yummy, and I hope that you love this recipe. If you enjoyed this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'm so happy you are here. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I will get back to you. Thank you for being here. Have a great day.